Meet Nima al-Mahdi, a sound engineer at Al Rayat al-Sud satellite channel. But before all of this, he was a famous rapper-to-be.
Das ist nur eine Episode aus 50 Köln. 827 überleg dir schnell, was du mit deinem Hab und Gut machst. Denn wenn du hier keinen kennst, dann bist du schneller am Arsch als ich. Spiele mit flippigen Farben und zwar kein Theaterspiel, sondern meine Erfahrung auf diesem Beat. Anvisiert und gezielt.
Being a star that's just there and fancied by everybody just because you're doing this one thing and not because you having a personality, not because you're nice. So you only really be loved because of your art and nothing else. And that art at the end of the day, if it doesn't have a purpose, if it doesn't change anything, it's pointless.
There are many who have embarked on a journey to fame, but rarely has anyone rejected it upon achievement. Such a scenario is so rare that you barely see it appear in novels and movies, let alone in life. But yet we find it today amongst the minority of people who refuse to give up on finding true love and friendship. And Nima is among this minority. He went from being a musician who was on the verge of fame, center of attention, and in front of the people. But now, he's someone sat at the very back, working behind the scenes. But where did it all begin? So I want to know, what pushed you, what drove you to pick up that pen and start writing?
You know, my parents got divorced, and that holiness of your home just broke away. You know what I mean? That thing where you feel safe. If that already is broken by itself, you kind of feel lost, you know? So I would take any straw to hold on to. And in my case, it was this art form that I started to do, which really gave me a lot of hope. And I think that was really like the reason why I just took that pen and I started writing, and I could not stop anymore. I would just write and write and write. I was addicted to writing.
Ich gehöre zu keinem Land, auch wenn das in meinem Pass so steht. In Deutschland bin ich Kanake, da drüben bin ich ein Deutscher, da fragt man sich doch mal, was geht.
How it all started was that I was born in Iran. My family and me, we moved to out the country because my father was a political prisoner, and his diploma or his college degree that he made was worth nothing anymore after he went to prison. No one would give him anything. So my dad decided to come out the country. It was a rough time. It was war in Iran, and so my family flew over the mountains of Kurdish region into Turkey, and then from Turkey we came to Germany.
Angefangen hat mein ganzer Film im Norden von Iran. Durch Politik und Krieg konnte mein Vater nicht chillen, das war zu viel, Mann. Wir mussten fliehen, dann kamen wir an in unserer neuen Heimat Deutschland.
So I used to listen to like audio books, kids books a lot. I would like listen to them more than I would read. I would read as well, but you know, my dad just really liked to. He was a writer himself. He would always like come up with like some Persian poems and interpret them to us and these things. So the concept of writing things was presented to me really through the family, or like I would say generally through the Iranian culture, because poems are like, I would say, one of the most important things to the Iranians, really. They're well known for that, and they have this, I would say, like all the Islamic poets that you have, like the biggest of all of them, they're all from Iran, and they influence the culture very much. It's like one day all the youth, all the kids were like listening to hip hop at that time anyway, and it was like, I would say, the most common thing, and especially for foreigner kids. I would always learned like all the lyrics that I was listening to, even though I didn't understand any English or anything. I would just flat out copy it with my mouth what they're saying. So one day we were sitting in a train with one of my friends, and he was doing the beatbox, and I was just rapping one of the songs that I knew over it, and he just really was impressed. I mean, like, I wasn't that much because it was normal to me, like, to know all these, but he was really impressed, and he said, "You're doing that really good. Not everyone can do this, so why don't you come up with the song? Why don't you write something, and then if you like, you can present it live, because I'm going to have a gig." He was a DJ, and he said, "If you like, you can come there and just present your song." So I went there to this party, and then he just groomed myself up, went there, and then he just gave me the microphone, and I was like nervous as hell, and he just played the beat, and I just started rapping over it, and the reaction of the people was extremely good. They really liked it. They all came to me and said, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Wherever I had the chance to rap, I would rap and show people, "Hey, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I like." And people would like it as well, because, as I said, I was young at that time. Pretty much everyone was listening to hip hop. But for me, it was even more than that, because I really like to give out a message or change something with my raps as well. So like from the very beginning, even though there was a lot of battling and dissing and saying how amazing I am and all this stuff that the rappers usually do, there was still a lot of message inside of it, a lot of like my emotional feelings from inside of it that I would put on the tracks, that would talk about my surrounding, like about people, what's happening around me, friends, family. So that was for sure something that played a part in my lyrics as well.
Ich fühl mich down, alles um mich herum wird zu ner Show, wirkt unecht und gibt mir kein Vertrauen, am Leben teilzuhaben. Ich will weg, verdammt, wohin, kein Plan, klapper meine Birne, fast tick ich ab.
Ist ein Knast, auch wenn du's nicht glaubst, bereite dich drauf vor, bald kommst du raus.
I can imagine that life must have been really tough. So instead of wallowing in your misery, what was it that kept you strong?
Kind of when you don't have an identity, you know, because I lived in Germany, but I'm not accepted as a German. When I go to Iran, they perceive me as a German. So if you don't really have that identity of a home, where you accept it, where you're there, you take whatever comes. And at the same time, with all that misery, with all that like a bottom that I found myself in, I always knew that there's a way out, and I trusted in God like to open up doors for me, you know. That was it.
Nichts in dieser Welt ist so anbetungswürdig wie du, nichts, aber auch nichts steht diese Würde zu, nicht im Star, Politiker oder der ganzen EU, nur Gott persönlich bleibt bei der ganzen Anbetung vor.
When I was 16, I got introduced to one of the greatest beatboxers of all time, and that was Razel. So Razel was like a big influence when it came to beatbox, and after I listened to the album of that guy, I'm like, okay, that's it. That's like the other thing that I want to own.
The incredible.
So then that was the second sensation. That was like the second I would say shining point for me. Like, so like now it's not just he knows how to rap, it's like now he even knows how to beatbox. So the first people that I officially worked with was a crew of DJs. There were 3 DJs, and they had those turntables, and they would do this turntablism a lot, and they were very, very good at what they were doing. They were amazing. So what we would do every weekend, we would sit together and record tapes. So like every week I would come up with a new written song or songs or whatever I had at that time. I would come and I would rap it on the instrumentals of other people, and we would record a tape together. A while after that, I got friends with the guy that was even taller than me, and his dad owned a music studio, a professional music studio. And because his dad was working for a radio station, so that was the first time when I had the opportunity to record in a studio. And this was, I would say, nothing that I asked for. Everything just automatically, naturally came into my way, really. I had the opportunity to record that song, and I wanted to make it as unique as possible. So what I did was I went in there. I said, okay, I don't have a beat maker. I don't have beats. So what I'm gonna do is we just record my beatbox and cut a beat out of that, and then I'm gonna write the song to the instrumental, and then I'm gonna come back and record it. So this is what we did. So the first song that I've ever recorded was 100% made with my mouth, which is really cool because like I didn't know anyone at that time that could say this about himself. So through that recording studio, I found like new people to work with, because there was like just some other people that my friend got friends with that came to record at the studio too, and they were like a crew of rappers. They had already their whole crew established. They were called HKC, or in German HKC you would call it. It's the shortage for Hamburg-Köln connection, or Hamburg-Cologne connection, you know, because like they were all together with me. At the end we were 13 rappers, 5 of them in Cologne and the rest were from Hamburg, and we would visit each other in the cities and go on to gigs and all these things, and we got to know each other in that particular studio where I record, even though I saw some of them before on like some hip-hop jams here and there, but like we really start to be in touch with each other since we work both in that studio. And them guys were amazing. They were for sure like the best rappers that I've ever met in person, and one of them particularly sticked out, and that was the leader of the crew. Really, he was Dr. Knaf. Extremely talented guy, very eager to like get his career going, very talented. So here I am, 18, just met some people that already established to a certain degree underground wise their name. They had a tape out which I was not on, that just came before I got to know the guys, like where all of them would show what they can, and this tape went all around Germany. So this tape was around, and everybody had a clue of them. And the thing was that the one frontman, he was quality wise with all that he was doing so good that he caught the attention of famous people as well. So suddenly famous people know our crew. Even though we are underground crew, we like pretty much nothing in the business yet, but we kind of established our name, and I just came into this crew, and I was just accepted as if I always been there, because what I brought was also like something very unique, and everybody really liked it. So when we go like have our live shows and all these things, the beatbox were always like a highlight. Me myself, I'm not a shy guy, so like when I'm on the stage and all these things, I would like just go out there and do it. So we would go to freestyle battles, we would go to gigs that would come across. Any microphone that's available, we would grab it and go for it. And Dr. Knaf, the frontman of that crew, like he really had some connections, and a lot of people got in contact with him because of the little fame that we had already, and they tried to like give him a record deal, but he said, if you don't sign my crew, I'm not gonna do it. So that was it. They didn't want to sign his whole crew, they didn't want to take them all, so he didn't take it. Yeah, so we used to go on gigs in Austria and Switzerland, all over Germany. Smaller gigs, bigger gigs, little bit money in it, but it was for sure not enough to pay your rent or anything with it.
Rap is the most popular genre of music today. producing some of the most famous artists worldwide, rappers like Tupac, Jay-Z, and Eminem, whose influence on the people spread across the globe. But we live in a world where people would do anything and give up everything, their family, friends, loved ones, and even their souls, for the sake of fame, glory, and self-glorification. But for the love of God, how far would someone go to seek closeness to God?
One of the things that I took very personal that most of the rappers don't is also like the God. They all speak to God, they all talk about God, but they all do exactly the opposite what God wants from them. They are like extremely selfish. They just curse around. They're rude. They're like not friendly towards anyone. I always play cool and all these things, and that rubs off on a person, also on me. I have to say, really, I'm guilty of that too.
Besser, du gibst direkt auf, kleiner Pisser, egal wie dein Image aufgebaut ist. Vergiss das mit dem Überlegen, ob du niemand gegentreten, dann noch Chance hast zu überleben. Nicht mal, wenn man fettere Texte.
Inside of me, I always knew what's right and wrong. I took the whole God thing way more personal than most of the people that were talking about it.
Gott, ich weiß meine Fehler und dass ich mich in schlechten Zeiten an dich zu wenden hab. Auch in guten Tagen hab ich an deine Güte gedacht, also sag mir, was geht mit mir ab?
And in my crew, no one would talk about it. And after a while, I would start to like introduce that in my rhymes as well, because I would always like read and trying to like implement that which I learned into my lyrics as well.
Zieh dir alles rein, sei so. Erfülle die Erwartung, opfer deine Chakren mit gebrochener Haltung. Rubine und Meere schlummern in Nähe und ich finde mich damit ab, mit Kieseln zu hantieren.
We also got to meet some famous people. Some famous people that I said they were just like so, how should I say, they pretty much, I would say they had no character, they had no friends. Because all they had was a bunch of people around them that are around them because they have money, because they are that certain character. So one person that I can name here for sure is like Little John. I mean, I met Little John, where we were the pre-act for Little John, and we were there in the backstage, and the guy just comes in and he's extremely nervous and extremely, I would say, even insecure about himself. And he sips 5-4 vodkas, and then he turns into that Little John that we know from the TV. So that meant to me already, when I saw the guy, meant to me like he's not real, because if he needs that stuff to get into that zone which he's presenting outside, then this is not what he is. This halo around my heroes would drop, because I saw that those people that I really liked slowly becoming just normal human beings, you know. And I didn't even had a problem that they were just normal. I had a problem that most of them were extremely arrogant, unhuman idiots. Good example for that was one of my favorite rap crews, The Roots. The Roots is a hip-hop or rap live band that has in it the best, or like that guy that I was inspired by, Razel, like one of the best beatboxers in the world. They were known to be the best hip-hop live act. And the day comes where they're coming to my city for a live gig. And I'm going to that live gig extremely happy. I bought a ticket for 40 euros. I spent to like buy myself this ticket to go and see those guys live. And what happens is I'm going there and everybody's saying this is the most amazing hip-hop act in the world. Their energy was the worst energy that I've ever seen on a live act from anyone. They were so arrogant. They had so no particular sympathy or empathy or whatever you want to call it for their crowd at all. And I could feel it. And because I knew people like in the scene a little bit, I got told later on that they got annoyed about having a white catering service. And this really, really, really agitated me. That really, really got on my nerves, because like I'm not tolerating racism from anyone, be it from a black person, be it from a white. I don't care. I don't care whatsoever. As long as it's racist towards a one certain group, I cannot tolerate that, let alone being a fan of yours. So I stopped buying anything. I would boycott them wherever I could, because you buy for 40 euros, like each and every person that was there paid 40 euro to go and see those guys. And if they're standing up there like and being arrogant, all arrogant about that, then they don't even deserve the attention of those people.
It's true. Celebrities have a tremendous effect on society, and in most cases, for the worse, serving as role models for millions across the globe. But for what reason are these celebrities being looked up to? Selflessness? Love? Or genuine care for mankind? Of course not. Such descriptions doesn't even fit the concept of society's current celebrity role models, as the truth is, they're all fake with fake personas, beauty and character.
Geld regiert alles mich rum, Mann. Alles mich rum, Mann, regiert Geld. Mensch muss hungern, hungern und hungern, damit versteht, wird nicht satt von Geld.
People would sacrifice absolutely anything to gain fame and fortune, all in an attempt to become this empty shell in order to achieve love, acknowledgement, and friendship from this world. But the love and friendship offered by the world comes at a price. And this was the harsh reality that was uncovered by Nima. But at the same time, he also discovered a priceless truth.
And that in particular was something that I understood from the point of view when I looked back at the prophets and messengers. They really cared about their people. They really, really, really did care about the people, and they had the humbleness to be liked by everybody and still being able, and they had the love to still be able to give back that love that they get from the people. And not like a one-way road where just one person is giving you love and you playing all cool all day. I really had the chance to see my role models in person, and when I saw how ridiculous they are, actually it just put me off so bad. My heroes disappointed me by their performance. I pretty much really got annoyed with all of this. I really didn't want that. And at the same time, what was going simultaneously was my own career going on. So I planned on doing my own thing. 14-15 years I spent on writing and beatboxing and going on gigs and this and that, and I just put my head together to get an album done. Then there was this time when I watched The Arrivals, and The Arrivals was one of those breakthroughs for me, because it tied all that I knew about religion together with all that I knew about the conspiracies that are going on behind the scenes. And that was just mind-blowing, and it changed me a lot, and it made me really think a lot about a lot of things. But at the same time, I still had this dream to get my foot into the industry in a way to I really thought I can change something. But then I got in contact with the person from my uni who was at that time an Ansar, and he introduced me to everything, and he told me about the school in Egypt. And a month later, after I knew him, he just disappeared and went to Egypt. But what he introduced me to was the arrived Ahmed Al-Hassan. He told me before he left, come to Egypt. Then I went to Egypt and I met the best people that I've ever met in my life. Here I had people that really, 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 really cared about God. And all my life and pretty much everything that everybody does, they do it to be loved or to get some recognition for it. And here I was in between people that just recognized God in whatever they would do. They would love each other, for God, which is the most honest and upright way to love someone is for God. And that's what I learned when I went there. When I went there, I saw Abdullah Hashim. Here you have a young man who invites the whole world to come and live with him. And he had yaqeen that it would work out. I mean, I didn't see it like that at that time, but this is really what it was. And all the people that they had, all that the people had to do was to say their shahada, and they would have the chance to come to Egypt and live with us. So I planned to go to Egypt and come back. I bought a ticket to go there for 6 months and come back, but 6 months turned into 3 years. So Abdullah knew about my passion for the rap, and I asked him if we could use it to spread the da'wah. And I think because he loved me as a brother and he wanted me to really like use that which I had for the da'wah, he said, all right, let's do it. So like we found a studio where we go to record, and then he said we have to make a music video to it, and he just said go to the pyramids. And I did it as if it was the most normalest thing in the world to go to shoot a rap video at the pyramids, but in reality it was the most craziest thing in the world, because no one is even allowed to do that. When we were there, we just walked around as if we owned the place. It was so strange, and no one stopped us like until the very end. And by doing that video, I mean, I see it like this now. By doing that, I cut my chance to have anything to do with the music industry, because after giving out a video like that, where you're in the desert, like with a beard, rapping about Islam, you don't have a chance to get into the music industry again. And on the other hand, I was famous now. I was famous all over the world. In Malaysia they heard it, in Iraq they heard it, some Iranians heard it, in Egypt some people heard it, in Germany people heard it, England, America. But the problem was that I'm like suddenly famous in a crowd, or like for some people that actually do not like music. They don't like music at all. I'm suddenly famous in between these people. And Abdullah didn't let me feel any of those. So he would support me all the way through, and I don't really think because he supports music or he thinks it's a good idea, but it's really because he loves me as a brother, and he thinks that this was the best way I could reach the people out there. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's God's knowledge comes to you in strange ways, and even if it be through a song. I mean, the problem is that like the whole idea of rap has a very bad image, and it rubs off on the people as well that are doing it. If they be good or bad, doesn't matter. Like they all get associated with other people that do the same thing. So anyway, the most important thing that needs to be mentioned is really that I found people that really, really, really cared about me. People that love me. And not just because I have something, or because I do something really nice, or because I don't know, I have some kind of... No. Only for the reason that they love God and they like God to act through them, because they were the only people in my whole life that really believed in God. And number one of them, Abdullah, Abu Sadiq alayhi salam. He was number one of them. It's like that man would just, his whole mind, his whole setup, everything that he would do, he would consider God. And this is something that is very, very honorable. And this is something that gave him success in what he was doing. And so here I am, not 100% understanding all of this, because I'm talking about it now that way, but like back in the days, it was just how things happened. It was just normal for me. But I found the people that I'm going to die with, and people that I would die for, and people that would die for me, and people that, you know, because the best sustenance that a man can get in this life is to have brothers that love him unconditionally. No matter what you do, I love you. No matter how you are, I love you. No matter what's gonna come, I would still love you. And we're gonna go through thick and thin and problems and I don't know, good times and bad times and everything all together, but we still stay friends and we still have that love for each other. And that is something so valuable to me. And I really believe that it really is valuable to everybody, but not everybody has that important component of being a believer in God in it. At the same time, I was here with people that had the faith to change the world the same way prophets and messengers would do. And that's what made them special.
Here is a man who worked so hard and sincerely for his dream job, only to throw it away the moment he finally achieved it. A great loss, as some may say, but as a result, he was able to get what he truly wanted, and that was to be loved. Not by fans, not by artists, but by people that loved for the sake of God. A love that he could trust.
Death goes along with some pain before rest enter your soul after the last breath, except for those who gain knowledge to abstain from the trickery of the physical world to reign over their body and not their body over their brain, to save themselves from cutting ties, meaning from the body being a chain, being a slave to this world. If this picture is still a blur, let me explain it simple and plain. The day you die is like someone's cutting through your knee with a knife to separate the shin from the thigh. You have to be prepared in your life to feel no pain. The prophet didn't speak in vain when he was saying die before your death. Let's rephrase that. Check what one man came up with. Actual knowledge about the holy books. He cracked secrets like no one else did. And the reference is the book of Allah. Read that King Saul said to his soldiers, indeed Allah will test you with the river. Whoever drinks from it is not from me. Some didn't, some drank, some had only a hand, considering the Almighty. Surah 2 verse 249. See, 3 ranks describe the highest to achieve is don't drink at all, called 313. They won't feel any pain on the particular day of death. Easy for them to get the soul ripped out of the chest. Less easier the case for the ones who drank a little. It will hurt a little, but the end of the road is rest in paradise. 10,000 men shaky, but they reach God. The others hypnotized by the river will reach none. They remain drunk, they do tie worldly bonds. They would suffer a lot to find a God as human's job. There's a King Saul of our time, and he sent his messenger to prevent the vice, to promote virtue by the roots of light. He's waiting for certitude, yours and mine's for 10,313 people to strike down the elite, metaphorically free Palestine from Goliath.